Good evening, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Parliament's Education Committee issues directive to immediately initiate the process to return the land of 3-1 University. The university urges the government to form a high-level probe committee. Prime Minister Dahal confident on Nepali Congress not obstructing government's presentation of its policies and programs. No consensus reached in the meeting called by the Speaker. Israel orders tens of thousands more Palestinians to leave Rafah as it intensifies military operations in southern Gaza. And Sudur Pashchim province defeats Lalitpur 11 by 16 runs through DLS method in the Mayor's Women Cricket Tournament. APF also defeat Koshi province by 24 runs. Parliament's Education, Health and Information Committee has issued a directive to immediately initiate the process to return the encroached land of 3-1 University. The committee's meeting held today raised the issue of the TU land being misused. After holding discussions, officials, including those of TU University, the committee handed a directive to return the land of the university. TU officials said the university does not have the capacity to bring back the land and requested the government for help. Vice-Chancellor of TU, Keshar Jang Baral, informed that a high-level probe committee will be formed to investigate the matter. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has started being actively involved in the resolving of Parliament obstruction. The discussion held earlier today by Premier Dahal with leaders of main opposition Nepali Congress, including the party's president Sher Bahadur Dewa, has been termed positive. Premier Dahal had summoned the main opposition Nepali Congress to his official residence in Baluatar. Along with Dewa, Congress Vice President Purna Bahadur Khadga, General Secretary Gagan Thapa, Leader Krishna Prasad Sitola and Chief Whip Ramesh Lekhak had reached Baluatar today. At the meeting, Premier Dahal urged senior Nepali Congress leaders to find a consensus to remove Parliament obstruction. Chief Whip Lekhak informed that the discussion was fruitful. Nepali Congress obstructed the Parliament on the first day of the budget session of the Parliament on Friday. The main opposition has been demanding for a parliamentary probe committee to investigate Minister for Home Affairs Ravi Lamichhane, who has been alleged of involvement in the cooperatives fraud. However, the ruling alliance has remained adamant on not forming the entity. Both sides have remained firm on their stances, which has been causing the Parliament obstruction. The Prime Minister's Secretariat has said that the Premier has been trying to move forward by taking both the sides into confidence. President Ramchandra Podal is scheduled to present the annual policies and programs of the government in a joint meeting of both houses on 14th of May, this Tuesday. Meanwhile, Speaker Devraj Khimire held a meeting with the Chief Whip of Nepali Congress and other whips. However, the meeting ended without reaching a consensus. There was no consensus as Nepali Congress and ruling alliance parties were firm in their stances. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has expressed his confidence that Nepali Congress would not obstruct the government's presentation of its policies and programs scheduled for this Tuesday. Speaking with journalists after attending a program on the occasion of Nursing Day today, Premier Dahal said that the government's policies and programs would be presented as scheduled. President Ramchandra Podal is scheduled to present the government's policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year at the joint session of the House of Representatives and the National Assembly this Tuesday. Entrepreneurs from the private sector have suggested the government to introduce a budget that would bring policy-wise stability in the country. Speaking at the first session of the ongoing Kantipur Economic Summit 2024 in Kathmandu today, chairpersons of the Federation of Nepalese Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Confederation of Nepalese Industries and Nepal Chamber of Commerce have suggested to form policy to boost the confidence of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs suggested the government to introduce economic and monetary policies to regain their confidence. Speaking at the same program, Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, Madhu Kumar Marasini, said the government will move ahead by taking the private sector into confidence. The number of women pursuing information technology education in Nepal has increased in recent time. Women are also increasingly getting involved in the IT sector. Some have also been soldiering the responsibility of leadership roles in various organizations. The number of Nepali nationals pursuing information technology education and sector as career has increased in recent time. Many IT companies are being led by women as well. There are a total of 6 women technicians at the Nepal Telecommunications Authority, while Sangeeta Pahadi is the acting managing director of Nepal Telecom. Capabilities of women in the IT sector are still questioned, which could discourage women participation in the sector. Experts have said that motivating women to study science, technology and engineering could help increase women representation in the IT sector. However, despite the government policy to increase women participation in the sector, expected progress has not been made. The government has not allocated specific budget and programs to implement the policy. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what should be done for further development of information technology and new entrepreneurships? Your options are A, policy-wise improvement, B, easy and subsidized loans, and C, market assurance. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Legendary mountaineer Kami Rita Sherpa has scaled the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest, for the 29th time. Breaking his own record, Sherpa successfully reached the summit at 7:25 a.m. this morning. Tachi Sherpa of 14 Peaks Expedition informed from the Everest base camp that Kami Rita, who had scaled the peak for 28th time on 23rd of May last year, reached the summit once again earlier this morning. Kami Rita, a local resident of Thame Solukhumbu, who has set several world records for scaling the highest mountain in the world, successfully reached the summit through 14 Peaks Expedition at the beginning of the mountaineering season this year. He was born on 2nd of January 1970 in Thame of Khumbu, Pasang Lamu, Rural Municipality 5, and began his journey of mountaineering from 1992 as a guide. He also holds world record for climbing mountains above 8,000 meters for the most times. He has scaled other formidable mountains including Ketu, Choyu, Lhotse and Manaslu. Now, the expedition team heading to scale the world's third highest peak, Mount Kanchenjunga, with an elevation of 8,586 meters, has returned to the base camp from the fourth camp. The team returned to base camp due to bad weather and avalanche, and it's waiting to continue its ascent after the improvement in weather conditions. 35 foreigners and the same number of Sherpas are awaiting to scale Mount Kanchenjunga this year. According to chairperson of 8K Expeditions, Pemba Sherpa, all the members of the expedition team had climbed up to 7,800 meters. Concerned companies have informed that oxygen is again being transported from Kathmandu for the expedition. Let's move on to international update. Israel has told tens of thousands more Palestinians to leave Rafah as it intensifies military operations in southern Gaza. Flyers dropped from the air and posts on social media told residents in the city's eastern districts to go to Al-Mawasi, a narrow coastal area which Israel calls an expanded humanitarian zone. Parts of Rafah where the streets were packed with locals and displaced people just days ago now look like a ghost town. Israel has said it will proceed with planned operations in Rafah despite the US and other allies warning that a ground offensive could lead to mass civilian casualties and a humanitarian crisis. Yesterday evening, IDF said it was currently striking Hamas terror targets in Jabalia area in the far north of the Gaza Strip. Earlier, it instructed residents to leave some areas of northern Gaza. It said they should temporarily evacuate to shelters in western Gaza City. Israeli media reported that several Hamas rockets were fired at Ashkelon overnight, as a port city about 10 kilometers north of the Gaza border. The Times of Israel has said 3 people were lightly injured when one rocket hit their home. Israel's plans to extend its ground offensive to the southern tip of the Gaza Strip, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have sought refuge from fighting elsewhere in the territory, has sparked international concerns. Last week, US President Joe Biden had said the US would not supply heavy weapons to Israel, which could be used in a major assault on Rafah. Afghan villagers buried their dead after flash floods caused by heavy rains in northern Afghanistan killed 315 people and injured more than 1,600. The Nahrin district of Baghlan province. In the Nahrin district, in fact, people carried their shrouded dead to a gravesite. Thousands of homes were damaged and livestock wiped out, the Taliban-run refugee ministry said, while aid groups warned of damage to healthcare facilities and vital infrastructure, such as water supply, with streets left coated in mud. The refugee ministry said Sunday's latest tally of dead and injured came from its Baghlan provincial office, according to a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. Earlier, the Interior Ministry had put the toll from Friday's floods at 153, but warned it could rise. Floods and landslides triggered by heavy rainfall battered China's southwestern Guangxi-Zhuang autonomous region as well. Streets are flooded and vehicles inundated in Xinzhou city as rescue teams evacuated residents in Fangshengang city to safety using boats. Heavy rainfall also hit Napo County, causing a landslide which blocked a road. Emergency workers were deployed to clear away the rocks and debris. More rainfall was forecast in the next 10 days in southern China, including Guizhou, Yunnan province. Now, at least 7 people were killed and 15 injured when a whole section of a multi-story apartment block collapsed after a Ukrainian missile strike in the Russian city of Belgorod near the border with Ukraine, Russian officials have said. Russian Defense Ministry said fragments of Tochka-U missile launched by Ukraine and downed by Russian air defense system damaged an apartment block. The ministry said Ukraine carried out the attack using Tochka-U, Vampire and Olkha missiles and rockets. Both Ukraine and Russia say they do not target civilians, although many civilians have been killed by both sides in the war. Russia invaded Ukraine in February of 2022. The conflict in eastern Ukraine began in 2014 after a pro-Russian president was toppled in Ukraine's Maidan Revolution and Russia annexed Crimea, with Russian-backed separatist forces fighting Ukraine's armed forces. Xu Feihong, the newly appointed Chinese ambassador to India, has vowed to make unremitting efforts in his mandate to promote understanding and friendship and expand exchanges and cooperation in various fields between the two Asian giants. Xu arrived in New Delhi on May 10th and assumed office as the 17th Chinese ambassador to India, filling an 18-month vacancy. Before his departure, Xu sat down for an exclusive interview with the China Global Television in Beijing on 7th of May, in which he shared his feelings on taking the new post and his views on the importance of a healthy China-India relationship, both for the region and the world. Asked to comment on the narrative of strategic rivalry between China and India, Xu said President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have reached an important consensus that the two countries are cooperative partners rather than competitors in both regional and international affairs. Xu previously served as China's ambassador to Afghanistan from March 2011 to August 2013 and later served as ambassador to Romania from January 2015 to May of 2018. Sudur Pashchim province defeated Lalitpur 11 by 16 runs through the Duckworth-Lewis method in the Mayor's Women Cricket Tournament to start off their campaign with a win. In the rain-affected match played at TU Ground in Kantipur today, Sudur Pashchim were put to bat first and posted 122 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in the allotted 20 overs. Skipper Bindu Rao top scored for Sudur Pashchim with a 28-ball 30. Kavita Joshi also contributed a quick-fire 25 off 20 balls and remained not out, while Sabitri Dhami also added 17. Arati Mahato and Kritika Marasini with 2 wickets each were the most successful Lalitpur bowlers. Chasing a victory target of 123 runs, Lalitpur had scored 45 runs for the loss of 2 wickets when play was halted after 11 overs due to rain. According to Duckworth-Lewis method, Lalitpur should have scored 62 runs at that stage for victory and thus lost the match by 16 runs. Skipper Pooja Mahato with an unbeaten 14 off 11 balls was the leading scorer for Lalitpur. Saraswati Ganga Magar also added 12 runs and remained not out, while opener Lakshmi Chaudhary scored 10. Janaki Thapa and Ritu Kanojiak each claimed 1 wicket for Sudur Pashchim. In another match played today, Armed Police Force defeated Koshi province by 24 runs in the rain-affected match, which was reduced to 5 overs. And that is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.